Hey, what's up, Couch Potatoes? We're back for some more spooky season. Today, we're talking about No One Will Save You. This became 2023, directed by Brian Duffield, a director I'm not actually familiar with. Now, when this came out last year on Hulu, I tried to just force it into even though we already had our plans done.
It was set.
And I was really excited about it because I remember we watched a trailer for this, and she was watching from the kitchen. She actually goes, at the end of it, I just lost my pen. And I just thought, wow, that's something. I feel like if the trailer can give you a panic attack, this was something I had to get on. So I'm excited that it happened this year. And I'm happy to say, I think it went over pretty well because we've both been talking about it for a couple of days now. So what was your apprehensions about watching this movie? Is it just, was it like the trailer for Lights Out where it just freaked you out so much? You kind of built it up as something that was...
Yeah, a little bit of that, and then just kind of the name, and that my understanding of the name evolved so much as I was watching the movie, so that kind of got, like, the no one will save you. I took it to be, like, no one is able to save you. Mm-hmm. And as I'm watching the movie, my understanding has layers added to it.
Yeah, I think that this was one that you get the idea from the trailer that this is an alien invasion story, but you're not certain. Is it just
potentially it could be, other things.
It felt like they did a good job of showing what was going on. And the thing was, I was worried that the trailers ruined all the scares. No, it does not, guys. It does not. But what I will say, this movie, 5 minutes into the movie, the tension is cranked to 11. It does not stop the whole movie. I'll say this movie did an incredible job with making it non-stop tension.
I didn't have that kind of like hold your breath tension. Since we watched Gravity.
Yeah.
Where like Sandra Bullock's lost in space and I'm trying to hold my breath and I'm like, you're not in space. You can breathe.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. But I just love that. It really got right into it. And the thing is, it has like this mystery. I'm like, why is this girl like a pariah in this town the whole time? And you slowly get it over the course of the movie. Now, I heard before the movie started that, there was like 5 words of dialogue or something, I think, that she says almost the whole movie. So I went into it like, okay, well, they're not going to explain this. It's fine. With a movie like this, I don't need it to be explained. Now, we'll talk about the ending at the end here. But I'll say that make this black and white. And to me, this felt like a modern-day Twilight Zone episode. It very much felt like a Twilight Zone episode to me.
Because there are a couple elements to that.
It feels like there is some commentary going on. But not in a way where you ever feel like, oh, God, it's preaching at me. No, not at all. But I do like the theme of, yes, no one will save you. But if you keep fighting your ass off, you can overcome anything, I think. That's the message that I took away from it.
Well, then, as we're watching the movie and we're seeing kind of why this girl doesn't have any dialogue, and I'm now beginning to think it's no one wants to save you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this took a dark twist. In addition to a scary twist, a dark twist. And it did give me that, what was it? Silence, Hush.
Hush by Mike Flanagan?
Yeah, the
Great
Hush
movie.
vibe.
Great movie.
I was getting that vibe because of the lack of dialogue. But man, are there some beautiful aerial panning shots.
Great cinematography in this movie. Great.
Working the sky across the reflection on the lake, coming up across the trees, which if you're using that alien invasion.
And I'm going to say the aliens have a really classic sci-fi look, but they look great. I mean, there was never once in the movie where I was like, oh, that looks CGI, looks phony. It's not like the third act of a Marvel movie. I thought it looked good, So I feel like there was probably some practical effects in there as well, because, I mean, these aliens were creepy, and I liked that they were like different sizes. So there's like the one that's almost like a child, and it somehow made it scarier. I thought that was scarier than the giant long leg one.
Well, because it was almost midget like, where the stature was smaller, but the limbs were the right size, and they have these really creepy finger toes.
Dude, where he gets like he's in the hall and he just like does this, whatever. She like backs up slowly, close the door, and then boom! Oh man, it was so good. It was so good. So the jump scares, they're there, but I never felt cheap by anything. There was no cat jumping out of the window and you think everything's okay, and then the jump scare, nothing predictable like that. So I felt like I'm not opposed to jump scares if they're not super predictable, that you've seen a billion times in other movies. But
even when it wasn't necessarily the alien form being creepy, that guy spider crawling on the bus, that was disturbing.
So you talked about other movies. I mean, to me, it just feels like a mashup of Signs, M. Night Shyamalan, obviously Signs, The Strangers. You got the home invasion, The Strangers, and obviously, to me, the granddaddy of all, War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells. I love the book H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds. I love it. And so any alien invasion story, you've got me. I'm going to give it a shot. And I think that this one, while the ending might turn some people off. Like I was wondering, why has this movie got such a low rating? Because I'm like, I am loving this. And then the twist ending happens. Like, I can see why some people can't let that go. To me, again, growing up watching Twilight Zone, that's an ending of kind of something we would see in Twilight Zone or something out of a Fallout game
Right.
or
Yes,
something.
it did feel, and when you said Twilight Zone, that the ending kind of clinched it for me because it does have that kind of sardonic or ironic little
Yeah,
gotcha at the
she's
end.
going to choose to this life instead of the one before where no one would talk to her, because of what happened in her
But
childhood.
she didn't choose what the aliens were serving up to her, or what they were trying to force on her.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got, and that's why I was thinking the rating might have been kind of low, as they didn't like that kind of ending. But man, I don't. Like, what did you want? Did you want an anal probing? Was that the appropriate ending? I don't need that to have a good ending.
Oh, they're okay. So there's like they are like probing her mind
Yes.
later in the movie, and I'm like, oh, are they seeing like, oh, hey, she. First, I want to say when they put like the thing in their throats,
Oh.
do they think they're helping humanity? Like, there's like, oh, you guys are miserable, so here we're going to put you in like a happy place, because you get this thing, and she's like, oh, her friend's alive and her family is still alive, her mom's there, and her house is beautiful and it's sunshine. Everybody outside is like partying and talking to her and stuff. So do they think that they're like actually giving you what you want? Or is that just we just go to like our happy place when they put the symbiote in us?
I got a little Matrix vibe where we're just we're gonna keep you in a docile state.
So when they're probing her later on, I'm like, okay, so are they like, oh, hey, she's done this, or maybe they say, hey, she wants a friendship or whatever. Let's make an experiment out of her. But I like your explanation of like, maybe like, man, all this bitch does is kill people. She's killed like 5 of us. She killed her best friend.
Right, she's a stone cold killer. We're not gonna mess around with her. That's how I took it. Like, oh, we see you, girl. We recognize.
I was very pleasantly surprised with this, though, because I had heard so many mixed things on it. There's people that were like, I mean, even the video we announced we're doing it, like, there's people who were like, it's great, and there were people like, don't waste your time on it. Again, I grew up watching Twilight Zone, so this clicked for me for sure. And those other things I love. I love Signs. I love War of the Worlds. I love The Strangers. So yeah, it just is a good mashup of all.
I love the dance scene at the end.
The dance scene was, again, that was something.
I'm here for
very,
that.
very something out of Fallout. Like, I don't know. That's the vibe I got, because it was like kind of that Americana style at the end. It felt very, very Fallout.
The whole time, or early on, I'm watching and I'm getting this kind of 70s vibe because there is a lack of tech. But they do the gravestone, and it is in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I thought that they were
2010s.
taking it, because I've said that you can explain away technology if you just have it take place before the 90s. You don't have to explain smartly. This one, I was just like, I guess it's just like middle America, and even if she did, who would she call? It seems like her mom's dead,
Right?
And no one in the town wants to talk to her. Who would she call? Besides the police, who hate her. Yeah. Yeah, so I actually thought that payoff was pretty good when it did actually show what happened.
Yes.
I was still just like, 10 years, why have you been here this long after this, But we talked about maybe, that was her family house and she's not letting that go or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm too extrovert. I would have to be able to talk to someone.
Part of her probation or part of her deal is she can't leave. Yeah. Which is why she was incognito on the bus, because I thought that's an interesting take.
There was one shot where she was like running in slow motion or whatever, and it had this freaky views, and you were kind of like, "What am I watching here?" So that was like the only like cinematography part you didn't really care for. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I remember your reaction to it.
They were really in on her shoes, and I was like, "Okay, then."
So what do you think about her style? Her style was something, right?
Right. That's kind of what gave me that 70s aesthetic vibe. But I also kind of got the impression she was a Etsy dressmaker.
Yeah. She was mailing stuff off at the beginning.
And had her little miniature town.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Came
like
in
when
clutch.
she stabs that one in the head with it. It was awesome. It was awesome. So, yeah, I mean, if you like a good movie that's just going to keep you on the edge of your seat the whole time, I would definitely recommend. So, star rating and then pumpkin rating, which is how scary we did find it. I would go, I'd say 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. And I liked the ending. I thought it was different enough to where, again, it felt charming in that Fallout / Twilight Zone kind of way. And I would put the pumpkins at 4 too, because I'm not as much scared as this. I ranked tension right up there with fear. And I was told her when we were watching, I was like, I'm already like kind of clasping my hands in the first 10 minutes here. So yeah, I like this stuff when you got the long hallways and you don't know, you're expecting anything to drop out.
The beam.
That freaks
cool
me out. Yeah.
So for stars, I agree with you. 4 stars. Like, yes, it was a great movie. It was really good. super enjoyed it. But for scares, I'm putting it out of 2.
2. Okay. Well,
2.
I'm a big scaredy cat this year. She's not. She's
So
cool, calm, cool, and collected this year. All right.
if you really want to tip my pumpkin skill is I gotta be scared later. I gotta not be able to sleep. I gotta be like, okay, we're turning all the lights on when we get up in the morning.
Okay, so this one didn't freak you out at all like that. Okay.
Well, I mean,
we did watch Psycho first. Maybe that's the bar setter, I think. But yeah, definitely recommend. I'd say right now, not counting Psycho because that's our kids pick. The movies that we picked, for me right now, it feels like this is going to be right there at the end. Maybe is my favorite of this list so far. So
oh
it
wow.
feels like it's going to be hard to top this one for me. This is
I'll
really
say
good.
I've got
like
a couple that are coming up that I think could give it some competition. So
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, guys. Well, what did you think of No One Will Save You? Drop down below, guys, and let us know, and we will talk to you there.